Yep. Good morning, everyone. So last session we discussed about all JavaScript primitive types. How do we work with them? Next, now today we will see the JavaScript non-primitive types. Non-primitive types. How to handle the non-primitive types. Actually, what are non-primitive types? Difference between primitive and non-primitive type is usually non-primitive types means so they are mutable types. Mutable types. Primitive types are immutable. Immutable means structure cannot be changed, but mutable means the structure can change according to situation and state. Structure can change. So that means they don't have fixed range for value. So value range varies according to memory available. And very important, they are stored in memory heap. Memory stack and memory heap are there. Usually primitive types are stored in memory stack. Stack have an order. You have to access in an order, last in, first out. But heap don't have an order. You can access anything from anywhere. So you can store and you can access anything from anywhere. So heap memory is nothing but heap allows to access in any order. There is no order for that. So this is non-primitive types. And JavaScript non-primitive types are, we have an array type, we have an object type, and we have a map type. This comes under JavaScript non-primitive types. So array, object, and maps. So we will see one by one how to use them. So what is array, object, and map? Let's see first the concept of array. What is an array and how it actually works? First point, the concept of array. Generally, arrays are used in computer programming. To reduce overhead and complexity. That is the main purpose of array. Generally, when you are learning some programming languages like C++, Java, .NET and all, C++, all these programming languages, when anyone asks what is purpose of array, usually at learning level, people who come from such backgrounds, they tell that arrays are used for storing similar type of values. Actually, that is not the correct definition about array, because arrays can store different types of values in other technologies. So some technologies allow arrays of similar type, not everyone. Then that is not the purpose of array, because some technologies will allow different types. Some technologies will allow similar type. So you cannot say array is used for similar types. Then actually what is purpose of array? Why we need arrays is generally arrays are used in computer programming to reduce overhead. what is overhead means. Let's see, actually overhead is related to memory. For example, to understand this, a small concept I will explain. Actually, in the beginning of electronic devices, we used to store data in data is stored in, actually it is stored in magnetic tape. Magnetic tapes are used for storing data. Even computer also used magnetic tapes only in the beginning. You know, tape recorders, VCRs, that means before CD, floppies, tape recorder, VCRs are there. How data is present in them, a magnet tape is present. In that magnet tape, how data is stored actually? In those magnet tapes, data is stored in a order. That's the reason if you have used tape recorders, VCRs, you watched one song or you listened to one song, you want to listen it again. Then what you have to do, you have to rewind and play again. That means if you want to listen the previous, then again you have to rewind it back and play. Because data is stored in sequential order, from left to right in sequential order. What happens? Usually we have a read-write head. Generally one read-write head is present. A read-write head is present. This read-write head will move in this direction. It is going to read in that direction. So that means from left to right, it will move like this. Actually, head will be at same place. Tape will be rotating. Tape will be moving from left to right. It reads in a sequential order. In this case, we don't have any problem because data is stored in order. Data we read in order, we write in order. There is no problem. Problem started once we started using disk. So once we started using floppy disk, compact disk, hard disk. In disk, do you know how data is stored? Actually, a disk contains lot of tracks and sectors inside it. A disk is internally divided like this. Disk have internal divisions like this. We generally call them as tracks and sectors. Data in a CD or a floppy or a hard disk, they are stored like this. That means they are stored in a tracks and sectors like this. Actually, in these tracks and sectors, how they store? In these tracks and sectors, they store like this. So you have one. So yeah, you have one. We have 2 here and we have 3 here. After that, 4 is stored here and 5 and 6. In this direction it stores. Data is not stored in a spiral way. It is not stored in a spiral way. Data is stored like this. Actually, you can see, I will show you a diagram. Internally, hard disk contains like this. Suppose we have a hard disk. You see, the hard disk internally looks like this. This is hard disk internal. Inside hard disk, there will be a disk. Actually, in this disk, this is a spindle. This round is a spindle. To that spindle, that disk is attached. So that will rotate the disk round. And actually, this is a read-write arm. read write arm that is responsible for reading data, writing data into disk. And you see this arm is fixed here. Then how it will work? So this arm is going to move like this, like a wiper. It is going to move like this. That means it will be moving in this way, like a wiper, car wiper. It moves like this. Now what happens? It reads the data like this. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. It reads the data. After that, disk rotates. After disk rotates, it reads from here to here. Again, it reads here to here like this. Disk is rotating around, that will be moving left and right. This is how data is stored in general disk. Not only hard disk, CD, floppy, hard disk, all work in a same way. That means actually what happens, there will be a read write arm. This arm will be moving like this. And it will be moving in this way, right? Disk rotates and moves. Now what happens in this case is, what happens, suppose this place is left empty. That place is left empty. We are not writing anything there. Now this arm, actually, this arm goes here. It will see that there is already some data. Then it will go next. That means now there is place, there is some memory, but you cannot use that memory. That memory is not used. That means lot of memory is there, but it is unable to use it. This problem is called as overhead. Overhead means memory is available, but you cannot utilize. So to overcome this problem, to overcome this issue, do you know in your computers, there will be an option called disk defragment. In your computers, you can go to programs. There will be an option called disk defragment. You can go to this disk defragment. When you open this disk defragment, you can see this is disk defragment. Do you know what is the purpose of this? It will move all used sectors one side, unused sectors another side. That means now what happens? Again, space is adjusted. That means all used ones, it will move one side, unused ones another side. Then again, space is adjusted so that we can start using. Actually, few years back, means till Windows XP, we have Windows a version called XP. Up to Windows XP version, we have to run this disk defragment every few days. That means every few days manually we have to run. So otherwise, after few days, my computer starts telling disk is full, but actually there is space. So we have to run this. Now these days, what happened in your computers, it is there and it is automatic. Automatic means it is weekly running. You can even run daily also. That means in your Windows, it is automatically set. So when your computer is idle for few seconds, automatically in the background, it will defragment and it will adjust the space. That is the reason majority of these days people even don't know that there is an option called defragment. Why? Because they don't need to use it manually. Earlier we have to do it manually. So what is the point here? The point is the memory available, but we cannot utilize. That is actually the concept called overhead, right? So why this problem came? Because information is not stored in an order. If information is not stored in an order, then it will create a lot of overhead. So how to overcome this problem? So arrays can solve it. So arrays were introduced into computer programming to reduce this problem. Earlier, we don't have arrays concept. Means in the beginning of computer programming, we don't have arrays concept. We started using this and handling these arrays after the introduction of floppies, CDs, hard disks. This concept came. So what is the concept of array? Actually, how array will reduce overhead? Array reduces overhead by storing values in sequential order. Arrays, how they can reduce overhead? They can reduce overhead by storing values in a sequential order, in a sequence order. If values are stored in a sequential order, then overhead will not happen. Another important, array can reduce complexity by storing multiple values under one name. You can store many values under one name. So you can store multiple values under one name. So you don't need several names. Under one name, you can store many. Another important is JavaScript array. JavaScript array can store any type of value. So which is not possible. It is not possible for several programming languages. In several programming languages, array can store only same type. That means they have a restriction. But in JavaScript, there is no such restriction. You can store any kind of value. That means that is the reason you should not say array is used for similar type of values. Array is used for similar type of values in your certain technologies. That is the problem of that technology. That means C, C++ like technologies cannot allocate different types of memory in sequential order. That is the reason they restricted array for similar type. So that means the problem of a technology you are telling as a definition. That is not good. That means purpose of array is not about storing same type or different type. The purpose of array is about whether values are stored in a sequential order or not. Main purpose is to reduce overhead. So that is the reason JavaScript array can handle different types of values. Actually, other technologies will tell one more point about array. Other technologies will tell that array size cannot be changed. Once array size is defined, you cannot change the size dynamically. But that is only in that technology. Array size can be changed dynamically. JavaScript can do that. So generally, when you are telling about array, you can better say that in my Java, array is same type. In my Java, array cannot change the size. In my .NET, it cannot change. You cannot simply say array cannot change, because in some technologies, array can change. So that means one more point is array can change its size dynamically in JavaScript. Array can change its size dynamically in JavaScript. These are possible. We will see those points. We will prove those points. For example, you see here how to configure array. I will tell you later. So here you can see, suppose we are dealing with array. I will show you how it works. Actually, we are having var values is equal to, I have 10, I have a, I have true. These are not similar type. One is number, another one is string and all. Now I am printing values. When I am printing the values, you can see it is able to handle the values. So it is storing 10, a, true. So if anybody says array is similar type, here it is not similar type. That means we are having different types of values. Another point is, actually many people, when they deal with their technologies, they have one more point, that array size cannot change. Suppose array is 2 size. Now in that values at 0, I stored 10. At values at 1, I stored some 30. At values, I stored some 40. At values, I stored some 50, like this. Generally, in other technologies, it is invalid. Why? Because you said 2, you are storing 4. But in JavaScript, it is not a problem. It allows you to store. So that is the reason array size can be changed dynamically. Array can handle different types of values. Then in that case, what is the purpose of array then? Because many times people tell array's purpose is same type values. But in my JavaScript, it is not same type. Then what is the use? The use is reducing overhead and reducing complexity. That is the main purpose of array, right? So array size can be changed dynamically. Array can store different types of values. So all are possible, right? Next important is, once you know about this, the question here is, why it is called array? What is the meaning of array? Meaning of array. What is the meaning of the word array? The meaning of array, actually array refers to a formation. Array refers to a formation where items are in order. They are in order. But items are in order, but can be accessed random. They are arranged in order, but you can access in order, in random. That is what actually we call as array. For example, this is a different point actually. For example, you see, I'll tell a simple concept here. See, actually, suppose there is here a shelf. We have some shelf. Suppose in this shelf, we are keeping some books. That means in this shelf, we are keeping some books like this. That means in the shelf, some books are arranged like this. Suppose I am arranging some books in this way. Like this, some books are folders. Some books or folders are arranged in this way. Suppose like this, they are arranged side by side. They are arranged like this. Books are arranged something like this. They are arranged in a sequential order. But I can pick anything I want. That means I can access this I want. I can pull it. That means they are in order, but they allows in any order. The best example of array is your keyboard. In your keyboard, there is an order for keys. Will you use in same order? No. Keyboard is an array. Keyboard is an array. That means in the keys, keyboard keys have an order. A, S, D, F, that is an order. Will you type in the same order? No. You can key in from any location. That is the concept of array. Array means keep in order, but access from any location. That is the concept, how you can deal with array. So array refers to a formation where items are in order, but can be accessed random. That is a formation type. Array is a formation type, right? So technically, that is the reason if you say stack means last in, first out. You say queue, first in, first out. Array, any order. Array means any order. All are sequence only. Stack is a sequence, queue is a sequence, array is a sequence, but array allows any order. That is what the purpose of array actually. So you can store values in a sequence, but you can access from any location, right? That is the concept. Now, how to configure array in JavaScript, we will see. Configuring array. How you can configure array, right? How we can configure array? Configuring array, actually, it contains two stages. One is configuration. Array configuration comprises of two phases. It contains two phases. Number one, declaring array, and second one, initializing memory or assigning memory for array. These two are compulsory. That means array configuration contains two phases. So what are the two phases of array configuration? So the two phases of array configuration is, one is declaring array. Second one is initializing the memory. Declaring array is same like variable. That means we have like var some products. That is declaring. So say let some products, or we say like const products, like this. You can use any keyword, var or let or const. But this is not enough. Because you are just declaring array. Now memory is not allocated. If you want to allocate memory, because multiple memories are allocated, to allocate memory, you need to do one more, initialize memory or assign memory. So this is syntax for what? Declaring. And you know that const cannot be declared. Const is not declared. It requires initialization. Initialization is compulsory. But after declaring, the next option is, so you can initialize memory or assign memory by using meta character or array constructor, or you can use array constructor. These two things you can do. That means declaring array is not enough. After declaring array, you have to initialize memory or assign memory. That means what? Var products. Initializing means at the time of declaring itself, you have to put a square brace. Or we can write var products is equal to new array. This is the constructor. Now, This is initialization. You can have assignment also. Assignment means what? You can simply say where products. After that, products is equal to array. This is initializing memory for array. Or you can write like products is equal to new array. You can define like this. That is two concepts. You can declare or you can initialize. You can initialize or you can assign. If memory is not initialized or memory is not assigned, you cannot use array. That means you cannot configure the array. Compulsory, you need to initialize memory. For general variables, it is not required, because for general variable, one memory is allocated. In that memory, you can store any data. But for array, we need multiple memories. And how do we tell we need multiple memories? By using this meta character. What this meta character meaning? Already you saw in regular expression, what is the meaning of that meta character square brace? Square brace is used for defining range of values. Range of values means you can tell how many, you can tell that multiple range of value. Now, the question here is, what is difference between meta character and constructor? What is difference between meta character and constructor? So this is very important question. So what is difference? Difference between array meta character and array constructor. What do you see the difference there? Can you tell? What is the difference between them? What is the difference? What is difference? Finally, we need memory to store data. What happens if I do that by using constructor or by using meta character? What difference you see here between square brace and array constructor is actually array constructor is using new keyword. It is using new keyword. Actually, what is the purpose of new keyword? What is the purpose of new keyword is? It is actually dynamic memory allocating operator. We call dynamic memory allocating operator. Dynamic memory allocating operator means memory is newly allocated every time. Memory is newly allocated every time. That means what happens is it is going to allocate a new memory for this every time. Whenever you want to try to use it, it allocates a new memory for it. Actually, this becomes a static. So what is this one? It is not. So actually, this is dynamic. This becomes static. Static means once the memory is allocated, the same memory is used until end. That means once the memory is allocated, the memory will not be reset. The memory will not be reinitialized until it is finished. If you are doing continuous operations on data, then use this technique. If you are using disconnected operations, disconnected means you finished one operation then delete it. And again, when you are doing operation, again load it. This requires array constructor. That means now what happens is actually means see the point. Now what you have done is you created products is equal to new array constructor. Now what we'll do is memory is allocated. Suppose this memory is allocated for that. And in the memory, it will load some items. The memory is allocated and it will load some items. Now what you are doing here, you are performing some operations on the memory. You are doing some actions. So once you finish the actions, the memory is destroyed. The memory is destroyed. So that means once you finish the actions, the memory is destroyed. Again, when you try to use that object, then again memory is allocated. That means whenever you try to use an array, separately memory is again allocated. Every time when you try to use array, memory is newly allocated. So, and in that memory, you can perform the operation. After the operation, memory is destroyed. Memory is destroyed. So what is the purpose of that? Means what happens when you write array constructor? This you write meta character. Means what? Memory is allocated first time, and that memory will remain same. You can use that memory repeatedly any number of times. Any number of times. So if you are dealing with continuous operations, then you can try creating array with meta character. If you want discrete operations, discrete means disconnected. That means at the time you use array, memory is allocated. You finished using, destroyed. In that case, then use array meta character, array constructor. So actually array constructor refers to what memory? Array constructor. So it refers to array constructor. Array constructor refers to discrete memory. Discrete memory. Discrete memory means disconnected memory. Disconnected memory. That means when you are using it, then only memory is allocated. After you finished using it, it will stop. But meta character is not like that. Meta character, first time when you use it, it is loaded into memory. Even you finished using it, it is still in memory. It is still in memory. Next time, whenever you go, you can access from the memory. What is drawback of that? Memory is used very much. That means memory is having lot of burden. Why memory is having lot of burden? Even you finished using, it is still in memory. So, but we need such operations continuously. For example, I will tell you disconnect. So what is meta character? That means meta character refers to connected. So connected architecture. Connected architecture. That means actually we call it as continuous memory. It uses a continuous memory. Whereas this array constructor is discrete memory. For example, I will tell you here. See, suppose we are having some actions to perform. What are the actions to perform? Like insert, like update, like delete. Now what should happen is these actions to be performed on some data. So we have some data on that we need to define. Now what happens to perform these options, insert, update and delete? So a memory is allocated. A memory is allocated. When you first try to perform insert, if it is array constructor, now what happens? It will allocate memory for insert. That means it will allocate memory for insert. It will go and it will perform the insert operation. After performing insert operation, this memory is deleted. It is deleted. Now again I want insert. Again memory is allocated. Every time memory is allocated. After that, it will perform insert and it is destroyed. This is good. Memory is well managed and it is safe, secured also. But every time loading into memory is difficult if you want continuous operations. That means repeatedly several times we use the data. Then every time loading memory, creating memory is risky. Then what we do? We use static. Static means memory once allocated, the same memory will be used until end. That is the difference between these two. So when to create an array and how to create an array depending on how you want to operate the data. If you want to operate the data in a discrete manner, then you use that by using array construct. If you want to manage the data using a continuous method, then you use array meta character. This is for continuous and this is for discrete. Not about size. That is not the point, because sometimes people tell that, sir, in array constructor you can mention size 2 or 3, we can mention size. But I already told you, even you mention size can be changed. Right? So it is not about size. It is about how memory is allocated. So you want a discrete memory or you want a continuous memory. Right? So if data needs discrete operations, then use array construct. And continuous operations, then use this. So developers decides so how the data is used. If they are going to use the data continuously, then they will use meta characters. By using the meta character, they define, right? That is important. So we have 2 points. Array meta character, another one is array. Remember, as a software developer in any technology, if anybody asked you a question related to memory allocations, means asked a question where you see the new keyword. That means if they have a question asked you in the syntax and there is one place is new, another place is not, then you just need to remember that it is related to memory. It is related to memory. When they are talking about new means memory. And a software developer is not satisfied very much if every time it is new memory. Right? If there is only disconnected operation, use new memory. Continuous operations, don't use new memory. Right? That is what. Actually, we in architecture terms, it is called in another way also. Actually, we call as array constructor uses single call mechanism. Single call mechanism. Single call mechanism means it is called only once. And after that it finish. Again you call, again it is loaded. Actually meta character uses singleton mechanism. Singleton mechanism is nothing but object is created once and the same object is used any number of times. That is called as singleton. Only one object can be there. There can be only one object. We call that as what? Singleton. This is actually the difference between array constructor and array meta character. So how to declare array is this. So remember, first you have to declare and you have to initialize memory. You can initialize memory or assign. But if it is a constant, you cannot assign memory. You can only initialize the memory. This is configuring array, right? Next important is storing data into array. How we can store data into array? Actually, two techniques are there. You can initialize data into array, or you can assign data into array. You can initialize data into array, assign data into array. But very important is syntactically initialization. Yeah, initialization. Actually, initialization means initialization of data into array. Initialization of data into array will be like this, where products. So, one second. Right. So initializing data into array is nothing but what happens is you have defined products, and in the products, what we are doing in the products, you have is equal to array. We are defining array. Now into this array constructor, what we have to do into this array constructor, this is array meta character. You can directly store values. You can directly store values into them. You can directly configure the values into them. If it is the array constructor, you can directly initialize into the constructor. So like a, like 10, like true, like this, you can directly configure into this. This is the array constructor, array meta characters. These you are initializing directly values into them. We are directly initializing the values. This is okay. Here you don't need any issue. You can directly initialize the values and configure the values. Now, assignment is important. If you want to assign values into array, then what you have to do is, usually to assign values into array, one important concept is actually assignment. This is assignment. Assignment of values into array. This requires assignment of values into array requires one more concept actually. What many people think and what exactly it is, the difference also we will see. Generally, many people think that the values are assigned into array. They are assigned into array by using index number. By using index number, the values are assigned into array. But in reality, the values are assigned into array not by index number. They are assigned by using assignment by using array property. Array property. Assignment is done by using array property. Actually, we have array properties. Assignment is done by using array properties. Array properties. Array properties means what? What are array properties? Actually, see. When you allocate memory, I will show the point here. Suppose we have products or say some values. Values is an array. When you define an array, automatically some memory is allocated for array. This memory comprises of divisions. this memory contains lot of divisions. The memory have lot of divisions. And actually the memory name is values. Memory name is values. These divisions internally they contain index numbers. 0 is index, 1 is index, 2 is index, and 3 is index. But actually, by the same name index number, they have actually 0 property and 1 property like this. So they have the properties like 2 property, like 3 property will be there. Actually, these properties name, they exactly match with index name. And these properties map to index. These properties will map to index. When you want to store values, usually you write values of 0. By seeing this, many people think that they are accessing index number. Actually, it is not number, it is a string actually. That is not number, it is a string type. It is a string type. That means it is not index, it is property. So arrays can store data in memory with reference of property. Array can access data from memory with reference of property. In the memory, they are index only, but reference is not index. Reference is memory. That is properties. I will show you. Let's prove this point. That means we will prove that point. Let's prove this point here. See, what I am doing is I am creating. So var values is equal to array. In that I have some 10. So we have some John, something like we have true like this. I want to read all the properties from array. See what I am doing for var property in array is values. I'm just writing a sample program. Observe that this program I am writing to show you what is the property type. Just to make you understand, we have to prove that point, right? Let's see. I am writing here property in the square brace. I am writing property and I want to access its value. Value, I want to access the values of property name. You can see now I am running this. Later, I will explain the loops and all iterators, what I am using. Just see that. You see here, it will show 0, 1, 2, 10, John, true. Okay, let's try to get its data type. Data type of 0, 1, 2. We will try to get the data type. See, I am trying to get the data type. So I can try like this. Here, I will put expression. Type of property. I am writing type of property. And you can see type of property, all are string. All are string. I thought that these are numbers, but they are not numbers, they are string. Actually, values type, let's see, value types are different. Huh? How to get the value type? Value type means we have to write type of values of property. That means they will get the value type. Value type is one is number, another string, another boolean. But these are string only. That means the 0, 1, 2 that you are using, that 0, 1, 2, these are all what type? These are all string type. These are all string type. So actually, you see, I am writing here I'm writing here values of in the string format. I am writing 3. 0, 1, 2 is already there. So in 3, I am storing some value. So some value I stored, and you can see that it is going to store that also. But it is not showing here string like, it is showing like number only. But I written as a string only. Even you write a number, by default it treats as string. It is actually string. So what people think that they are referring by index numbers. No, they are not referring by index number. They are referring to a property that maps to index. The property is attached to index. Internally, it works with index, but you will not directly work with index. You will work with properties. Writing data using property, reading also with property. Suppose I want to read John, then we will write document.write values of 2. I am writing like a string. I am writing like a string. It is working. 2 means the 1. 1 means it will return John. I am writing like a string. I am writing like a number. You write like a number, but its type is what? String type. Right? That is the reference actually. That means how the values are stored in a array. Values are stored assignment by using array property. Array property. That means actually, so here we have a simple var values is equal to array. Values of 1 is equal to 10. Values of 2 is equal to 20. That's okay, no problem. That means what is the type of 1? That means 1 is a string type. What is the type of 2? 2 is also string type. They are string type, right? That means they are the same types. There is no change in them. So usually that is the data types, how they are configured and they are defined, right? Technically, the value types, how you deal with the value types, right? So storing values and reading the values are done with reference of property. This example I will give you just to understand the point that properties are string type. And we access the values, we store the values with reference of what? Property. With reference of property. Now, another point here is, another point, what type of data you can store in an array? Array can store any type of data. Any type of data, because it's just memory. It can store primitive types. It can store non-primitive types. It can even store functions. Anything you can store in an array. You can store anything in an array. For example, you see here, I am defining var, so values. Values is equal to, here I stored a number. I stored a string, suppose TV, right? Some true, and some again array. Again array. In this array, we have some Delhi, we have some Hyderabad. After that, we have some function. And this function have document.write, and it is having hello. All these are inside array. You can store any kind of data in array. Now tell me how to access Hyderabad. How we can access Hyderabad? How we can access that? Document.write values of, where is that location? 0, 1, 2, 3. At 3 array is present. At 3 array is present. So you have to access array 3. So you can access array. At 3 array is present. Okay, at 3 array is present. In that array, how many are there? 2 are there. What is the reference of Hyderabad? 1. So at 3 array is present. So it is an array again. So 1. That means it is going to access and display that Delhi here, Hyderabad. That means at that memory, array is there. How you access array? Again, a square brace. In that index references, we have to write. You are calling index reference, but they are technically what? Properties. It's okay. You call as index, but you should know that it is not index. It is a index reference called property. Now, how to run that function? So that means we have to access values of what is the index number of function. It is at 4. At 4, there is a function. How do you call a function? Function is called with a parenthesis. It is called with a parenthesis. Then you can see it will print that and display. Right? Suppose I will just print a BR here so that I can print this in the next line. It is printing in the next. That is how we can access the data. You can store anything in array. You can store any kind of data in an array, either primitive type, non-primitive type, function type. There is no restriction for that. You can access. So this is example for that. You can store any kind of data. Right? If many times people have this doubt, like, can I have nested arrays, array in array, anything you can have. It is just a memory. You can store anything inside that memory. This is first basic thing, how to create, how to store, and how to access. Now, important, actually, arrays provides one, already I explained if you remembered. Array supports destructuring technique. Structuring. This already I explained. Array supports destructuring technique. That means if there is various values now, how we can access, how to separate these values. 10, TV, true, and suppose like this, there are some values. I want to individually deal with them. If you want to individually deal with them, where in the square brace, ID, name, stock, cities, and hello is equal to values. That is destructuring. That means now the first value is stored in the reference of ID. Right? Now how to print Hyderabad? Now it is little simple. What you can do, document.write cities of 1. Cities of 1. That means it is going to print that Hyderabad. I want to print the function. How to print the function? Just we have to call hello. Hello. You don't need index numbers now. This is easy for dealing with array destructuring. So you can create a set of variables and you can assign everything into that. This is actually array destructures. How the destructuring works for an array. Actually, without destructuring, how to do this? We have to individually configure like this. Without destructuring, how is? We have to just say where ID is equal to values of 0, like that. Right? We need to configure in that way. Again, where name is equal to values of 1. Right? Now, instead of that, we can use a simple destructuring technique for array. This is array related, so declarations and all. Now, important, how we can manipulate array. We call as array manipulations. Array manipulations. Array manipulations actually JavaScript array object provides. So a set of properties and methods to control array, to control and manipulate the array. What are those properties and methods? We know a lot of them. First important, we have a property called length. We have a length property. What it will do? It returns. So it returns total count of elements in array. In array, how many elements are present? It will return. So it can get the total count, returns the total count of elements in array. Is it having 5, 6, 10? How many elements are there? You can access by using length. Just like string have functions, array also have the functions, right? Now array have a lot of other options. Array methods for reading values. For reading values, it has a lot of methods, like toString is a method. We have join is a method. So we have slice, it is a method. So we have find method, and we have filter method. These are the methods for reading the values from array. What toString, join, slice, find, filter can do? They can read the values from array. Actually, so you have another one, which is map. This is also reading the value. So for example, you have some values. So where categories is equal to array. Say some electronics, some footwear, some fashion, like this. Now what I want is, I want to read these values. Document.write categories toString. ToString is going to read all the values separated with comma. Right? It uses the delimiter comma. You can use another one, document.write. You can say categories join. Join can use your own separator. That means you can put your own separator. Then it will join them with our own separator. We can use a custom delimiter, our own separator, that you can do by using join. So you can use document.write. You can use slice. You know slice. Some 1, 2, 2. I want to read 1 to 2. That means from 1 index to 2 index means it will return only footwear. Because 2 is not included. It will start with 1 and with 2. 2 is not included. So it can read only specific. You have another important, you can use find filter. Actually, map is nothing but it is an iterator. That means I use categories.map. This map uses a callback function. In this function, it can read every category, and you can print that category. Suppose I am using document.write. I am printing category. Every category as, suppose I am printing like a list item. I am creating a li. So a list item. In that list item, I am printing. But this is not enough because map requires some more functions. I will tell you. Actually, this is reading and displaying those. That means map is used to read every item. It is an iterator. it is used to read every item and present the item. You can present in any way. So suppose I am presenting like a button. I am presenting like a button. Then every item is presented as a button, presented as a link or a button or anything. That means it is going to access. So that means it is going to access and it is going to present this. So that you can do by using map. So map is going to read every item. So toString, so separated with comma, right? This is separated with custom delimiter. Delimiter means separator. Delimiter, that is separator. Slice from a specified index. So add find actually, so it returns the first occurrence that match given condition. So that match the condition. What filter? It returns all occurrence that match the condition. I will show you. Map, it returns all using an iterator. Iterator means reading all elements from a collection in sequential order. Find and filter also works, but remember, we need reasonable data for them. Otherwise, you can't see. Actually, see now, suppose we are having var sales. So 35,000, 57,000, some 24,000, 67,000, 21,000. I want all the sales which are above 50,000. I want the sales above 50,000. Then what we do is actually we use here, so var result is equal to sales.find. Find actually uses a callback function. This function will read every value. After that, it will return the value which is matching your condition. Our condition is greater than 50,000. That means what it is going to do is, it is going to first read the first value. It will check, is it greater than 50,000? If it is not, then it will go to second. If it is greater than 50,000, then it will store. After that, it will stop. Because find will give only first occurrence. Then you print document.write result. You print that result, it is going to print only 57. That means it is going to return how many occurrences of that particular value? Only one. Your same option, just change the find to filter. It is going to return all that match the condition. That means it will return all that are matching the condition. So find and filter are similar. Only the point is, find is going to return first occurrence and filter is going to return all occurrence. That is for reading. We have toString, join, slice, find, filter, and map. Similarly, we have functions for inserting, updating, deleting, and all. That we will see in tomorrow's session. Right? Tomorrow, we will design one example using these methods. How to add dynamically, remove dynamically, we will see that. That is very big concept, right? Tomorrow we'll continue. Tomorrow we will learn all other methods of array, how they will work. With example, we will see. Okay, right.